All right. Welcome, everybody. There we go. Good morning, everybody. You want to take a seat and we'll get started?
I got a bite of Janelle's greens. Wow, those are good. Dude, go get some of that. Part two. This is going to be a lot interesting stuff.
Everybody want to have a seat? We'll get started. Thank you.
Test. 1, 2. Test. Good. Better. Test. 1, 2, 3. Test. You guys are okay with that? Yes.
Everybody get a seat, get your last goodies on your plate, have a coffee.
All right. Good food back there. Janelle hooked it up. Those greens. Oh, sorry. You're gonna take off. Well, if you get up to get some food, I think everybody's in. It's a potluck. Honestly, man, clear the day. I wish I wasn't speaking so I could eat. I'm not going.
Save some for Anton.
You know, I got a bite. It's delicious.
All right, let's how's everybody doing this morning? Good to see Stephen. Yeah. All right, let's thank the Lord for our morning, and then I can't wait to hear about this, the Rise of the Machines Part 2. It's going to be pretty amazing. How many people are involved in some way with IA in your business?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm stuck.
Anybody else? Lots to learn. All right, let's thank the Lord for our morning. Father God, we come before you this morning humble, not in earning anything. We are not worthy of anything. It is all you, and it's all your mercy and your redemption, your salvation, your love for us. And we are so grateful. Thank you for Anton. Thank you for what he brings to all of us. Thank you for what we're going to learn this morning. Help us to apply it to our businesses. And we give you all the praise and glory. Amen. Anton, bring it.
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and of all ages. This series, Rise of the Machines Part 2, it's becoming more of a thing now, this AI stuff. Basically, I want to kind of get you guys to understand it like this, that the advent of AI, where it's going and how quick it's to get there, very similar to internet and cell phones when they first came out. We all remember the good old fashioned days before the internet, the Stone Ages. All of us are going to remember that. And then the internet came out, right? You know, thanks to Al Gore. He blessed us with the internet, and in the early days, it was real slow, dial up. It was out. It was out. Check your history books. Al Gore, thank you, sir. The first iteration of the internet, very slow, very clunky, dial up. You had that everyone had that ubiquitous circle, black and white, that just spun. It sounded like a fax. And now we've got internet accessibility on our phones. It's lightning fast. We've got this 5G thing going on. You know, it's light years away before it started. So same thing. First, Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell was the first guy who got a cell phone, and it was the size of a brick, and I'm sure probably way equally as heavy. And you know, now we've got cell phones that are, you know, this big, and pretty slim and fit in your pocket, and, iPhones, it's just amazing. Do entire video production, music production with your phone. It's insane. AI is very much like that. It is technology that is, it really is going super fast. This is why I had to rework my presentation kind of like overnight styles. There were some things that happened just this last week that I didn't kind of put you guys on track with awareness on it. I felt like I did you guys a disservice. So there are some videos we're going to watch, some YouTube shorts, a couple clips, and I'm hoping it's going to just give you perspective on just where we're really at with this stuff and where it's going. So for all you guys who are already using it, even to a small degree, great. Hopefully going to show you maybe one or two things that are going to help you now. But I really want you guys to be aware of like where we're really at. Okay? The swing has been hard, it's been fast, it's going to get faster. We will be living in a world that you guys have probably only seen in movies and shows like very soon. We kind of are already there, but I want you guys to realize how far it's going. But for all you folks who missed the last presentation, or maybe you did catch it, just to kind of catch, well, actually, let me take one step back before I jump in. So what I'm hoping to cover today is a real quick review of what AI is in general, predictions from the past, a little video clip. I don't think we got to it last time. Prompts in action. I want to maybe show you one real quick, just to show you what a free version of chat, which is chat GPT 3.5, I believe, which is not the paid version 4.0 or 4.0 turbo is what they call it, this latest iteration. But I want you to see some of this in action real quick, and then what you can do with AI. There's some things I want to show you that are feeding from LinkedIn. For all you people who don't follow us on LinkedIn, the EFC profile on LinkedIn, I try to push out a lot of stuff there, not just AI business related things in general, but as I come across it, I try to maybe push it out there. So if you want to kind of keep your finger on the pulse of stuff, link into the LinkedIn to the EFC LinkedIn page, and you'll see some cool stuff. Beyond Chat GPT, so I just want to show you some things that are outside of chat. When we talk about AI, people think just automatically Chat GPT. It is not the only one by far, but it's again the one people may be talking about. AI pin. That's going to be something I think will help you guys to understand where the tech is now and where it's going to be as far as like everyday use. Again, internet, cell phone, like AI is going to be a regular part of your life. And if you don't think that is the case, I'm going to show you something that will correct that. So what is AI, artificial intelligence? We all know that's what it stands for, but when you're thinking of AI, imagine that you have a robot friend. You can learn and think just like you do. And that's what artificial intelligence really is. It's layers of code that have specific purposes that add as a bundle. It creates kind of a personality, right? It's not sentient, but it is something that can learn and adapt. There are different types of AIs. There's a type that learns as it goes from experience called machine learning. There's other ones that do specific tasks. One's called rule-based AI. Now, from our last presentation, you guys may recall I kind of used some of that stuff. It's great terminology, heavy kind of stuff. We're not going to go that deep right now. I just want to kind of give you a refresher. AI, that's think of it as like an 8-year-old child that has access to all human information, and you can specifically purposes do many things. So, prediction for the past. So, our good friend Mr. Steve Jobs, back in I believe in the early 80s. I think it's like 81, if I remember correctly. Now they were talking to him about the computer that they were developing at this time. But it actually very, very, very much goes along with what's happening with AI. This is a short clip, but I want you guys to hear this. And again, this is 81. It's 2023. See how much of what he's saying is on point with where we're at today.
Species of locomotion for various species of the planet. Because I measure how much energy is up for a bird to get from point A to point B compared to the energy for the fish. Go first thing. And they rank them. And it turns out that Condor won. Condor was the most efficient. And man came in with a radical, impressive thing about a third of the way down the list. disappointing. But someone there had the insight that tests the efficiency of man riding a bicycle. And man riding a bicycle was twice as good as the condor, all the way off the end of the list. And what it really illustrated was man's ability as a tool maker to fashion a tool that can amplify an inherent ability that he has. And that's exactly what we think we're doing. We think we're basically fashioning a 21st century bicycle here. We can amplify an inherent intellectual ability that can take care of a lot of the drudgery to free people to do much more creative work.
So that was back then with what they were doing with the computer at the time with Apple and whatnot. Now, here we are in 2023, and that is literally the exact purpose for AI. It's supposed to just kind of take up the slack for all this mundane drudgery kind of stuff, the stuff that you're just like, okay, wash, rinse, repeat, and free us as human beings up to do higher level thinking and more advanced tasks. It is also a tool that when you are thinking in terms of what you do every day, it can help you do it faster, better. Why? It's not to say that the technology is better than you as a person. It's just, it would take you longer, right? Like if you're doing research, trying to develop an outline, trying to come up, it would just take you longer. You can prompt the AI in a way that allows for it to get done in seconds. And now you're able to go do other things. And you have more time to be able to do it. Yes.
Anton. Sorry to ask a question at the beginning, but just, I'm really curious, how much of artificial intelligence is already in use in our cell phones, and can you address that versus what's coming out now? I mean, you know, we know that they follow us around, they reserve ads, they know where we were, what we looked at.
So AI, as quickly as it's come out, it has been kind of rolled into a lot of things. You probably see it as a value add or a value proposition to a lot of software or hardware now, like, oh, with AI, oh, with ChatGPT, it's everything, right? It's been baked into the cake pretty fast. I couldn't tell you exactly how much of what we're already using now has that already integrated with it, but it's a lot, and it's ramping up pretty quickly because people are saying like, oh, I can use. Well, one very easy place to show. You guys do live chat. If you're ever engaging with a brand online, customer service,
yes.
They're like, oh, let me hit the live chat because I'll get in touch with you. Guaranteed, beyond a shadow of a doubt, most of that now is initially being dealt with by AI. And those are bots that have been specifically developed to initially engage with you, maybe send you some pat responses. You know, you'll see that a lot of times. You'll ask it something and it like sends you links and like, oh, go watch this video tutorial. You know, like it's like, oh, okay, well that was the person. Yeah, you can.
It really happened
Are you a person? Right. Bad human.
So you're saying that the AI chat can take the place of a call center? For an industry, oh, let's say solar panel. So if somebody wants to provide solar panel for a home, they go to a website, oh, I don't know, like an Aurora or somebody, and do chat, and then they'll be able to do the call taking from that.
Well, it'll really engage because again, the AI has to be taught all this stuff, right? Like there are nuances to it, but it has to be taught this process. But the process can be engaged in a way that I'm sure humans, the really sophisticated stuff, you can't hardly tell it's not. I mean, like it'll breathe, like you'll hear a breath on the phone. You'll be on like talking to somebody I think is a person. And then the voice isn't all robotic now. It's like it is a human sounding voice to the point where it's really hard to tell. And it'll breathe. You're thinking, oh, it's but it knows how to mimic all this stuff. So it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. But yes, you can there are call centers, there are entire call centers that have been shut down now. You know, hundreds and hundreds of people, sometimes thousands of lost their job because they're like, oh, I can just get an AI to do that. Right, it's much cheaper, much cheaper. So again, I don't want you guys to think of like, is AI gonna take my job? No, you should be thinking AI is gonna take my job to the next level. You should be thinking, but there are certain tasks. If you are looking at the world from a very global perspective, very technologically advanced perspective, like, do you need a bunch of people on the phone, like waiting around in a call center for people to call problems, Or can you get an AI bot to handle that? Yeah, you can. Now that frees human beings up to go do other things. You shouldn't be looking at it as a loss of job, it should be a reallocation. of resources. Yes.
Anton, I was just gonna say, I just had an experience, Friday, was trying to work something out with a, credit card. And I went on and I told them what I wanted to do, and they gave me 1 or 2 responses. And I said, I want to speak to some customer service. They said, well, I'm a bot, I can help you, what can I help you with? Describe your issue before I give you to a real person.
Right.
And then I got a real person with a real name, I think.
Right, I'm sure. Right, and that's one of the ways to do it, they'll at least tier 1 in with AI, and then it'll even admit that it's an AI. It'll help you as far as it can, and then when it's like, okay, I have to tap the birth data. And there will, again, there's still need for humans in the process, but really, that is changing very quickly. Yeah.
And expensive, it's a lot cheaper with the bot than.
Yeah. Instead of paying a person per hour to sit there and do the same thing. Right?
You know, just to build on off of that, because everyone used the, everyone's had to call in for something, whether it's like, you know, credit card or whatever. I've always found that no matter what the situation is, throughout my lifetime, when this first started to today, even just very recently with certain things, a human has always been able to solve the problem faster, getting more results as opposed to the AI.
They are
I've
getting
never had experience with AI has ever been able to handle a situation better than humans. I just noticed everyone do other things like it was empathize or like calm down to this effective working process. And again, you were working experience before we get into the other working. This may not be the solution you're looking for today. Here's something to set you up that can use that solution on the second, third iteration going through. And so as far as like, you know, how concerned you should be as far as like AI is taking over, I can see AI is doing like receiving calls and filtering calls, what they do, and also knowing that it takes forever to get before we're trying to get to us to listen to a 5-minute monologue about why I should care about these other options I care about.
Well, and oddly enough, there are now a lot of outbound sales processes that are being built around AI. So your entire sales funnel outbound can be done by AI, calling, emails, text, all of that. And there's a way, because remember, an AI is only as good as the data that supports it and that it's been trained on. So when you talk about sales professionals who literally have courses, textbooks, like literally the people who we learn from when it comes to this kind of stuff, they are given that information. So they have just as much of the training, and they actually will take even real life calls that have been done and say, okay, here's more training. So they will see the back and forth that's had, and they will learn from that. That's one of the really cool parts about a lot of AI is that it's going to learn as it goes. So even if it fumbled the call, you know, it's going to learn from that, and it will get better. So next time, if something like that happens again, it won't make that same mistake. And that's kind of one of the things that most of these guys are banking on. They're like, it's good now, it's going to learn as it goes forward. But it's only as good as the data and the training that's behind it. Yeah.
This is another really interesting question. Because is there any, it's like, really interesting, sorry, one last question like for the AI. So everyone's not necessarily gonna be nice to the AI all the time. Yeah, just to learn from that, I think a good example is Cleverbot, basically. And that's Cleverbot kind of something happen to it, it's like talking to people basically. Is that something you need to worry about when it comes to the actual, you know, comes like these AIs are answering calls and trying to figure out stuff? You have to like, you know, kind of rinse it or something once in a while, like how do you go about that?
So it understands human aggression to a point, right? Like it knows that like, oh, this person's angry. It's just another layer of excuse me, of adaptation. Whether the particular model that person has in play that's dealing with that issue has that learning, or is it going to gain it through that experience? It's a mixed bag, but there are AIs that are coming out now that are trained on like human psychology and how to deal with people in different mood swings and stuff like that. So there's a particular AI that do particular things. This is one of the things we're going to talk about here real quick is that agents is what we call them technically. They're different agents. I know you're thinking like Matrix, you hear the word agent, you're like, Agent Smith, where is it? Well, it's kind of like that. Like there are chats, GPT models, there are different other AIs that are developed to do certain things. But they still have like the general AI, but then they are very much designed to do one thing. And they will stay within the parameters of that thing, for the most part, but that's kind of the purpose. So you could actually set up, and Jack, you may recall from, AI math class that you can have multiple agents make it all execute at the same time on one task. If you have one that's like, okay, you're the project manager, you're the engineer, you're this, you're that, go and execute this task, like collaborate with one another, do this, and like they will do all that. And you can see it in real time as they like, oh, okay, here's my response, here's my response. Okay, I'm over, okay, check this. Okay, I like this, I don't like that. Okay, and then it will give you a final prompt. Say, okay, we went through all that, here's our final result. But they are creating whole platforms, SaaS solutions that are good. Like, hey, there's a whole suite of dedicated AI agents that will do this, and that's all they've done. They've given it a very good base, and then they've turned it to do one specific task, which is not a bad thing. Nothing wrong with that. But that is something that is right. So let me
There was an article on science in here.
That's okay. Okay. So one of the reasons why I wanted to like craft the presentation a little differently is because of what OpenAI Dev Day just showed us. Now, what is Dev Day? Think of it as a presentation of what's happening now with OpenAI. Now, this is going to cover a number of things really fast, but you'll get it, I think.
GPT-4 Turbo supports up to 128,000 tokens of context, has knowledge about the world up to April of 2023. So the new pricing is 1 cent per 1,000 prompt tokens and 3 cents per 1,000 completion tokens, considerably cheaper than GPT-4. We have a new feature called JSON mode. ChatGPT can now see, hear, and speak. DALL-E 3, GPT-4 Turbo with Vision, and the new text-to-speech model are way into the API today. We have about 100 million weekly active users now. So we're introducing copyright shields. We're thrilled to introduce GPTs are tailored versions of ChatGPT for a specific purpose. You can build a GPT with instructions, expanded knowledge, and actions, and then you can publish it for others to use. Eventually, you'll just ask the computer for what you need, and it'll do all of these tasks for you. We're going to launch the GPT store. We're going to pay people who build the most useful and the most used GPTs a portion of our revenue. New assistant API, persistent threads, built-in retrieval, code interpreter, improve function calling, and express ability together. GPT-4 Turbo supports up to 128,000 tokens of context, has knowledge about the world up to April of 2023. So the new
So that was the Open Dev Day, OpenAI Dev Day that they had earlier this week. So they said today, like that's done. Like that stuff is in play. So this is what I'm talking about. Like AI, where it's going, how fast it's getting there, it's really, really fast. So it is, again, I liken it to the internet and cell phones. Like when those came out, I don't know where your adoption level was when that tech came out, but you're going to have to accelerate your adoption level of AI. Yeah, you're going to have to get your head wrapped around it. You're going to have to figure out how to use it, because when you don't, you're going to get steamrolled. Because there are people who are staying up to date with this stuff or developing this stuff, and you're going to be light years behind people in various ways. You got the mic, so to know technically right there. Go ahead.
1 cent and that 3 cent thingy up there, what does that equate to for getting a job done? Like, how much was that? Like something that we did on our.
You can get a lot done for those tokens. The thing is that that's the paid model of GPT. The free model is still 3.5, and you're not, you don't have a token burn per se, but you will hit a wall at some point. They'll say, okay, you're done for the day. But it would take a lot. I mean, a pretty significant amount of project.
But what is the amount of money that someone would spend?
Well, the paid version of chat is paid $20 a month, and this is additional token purchasing beyond like what you're naturally living in that. But you can also, I believe, a la carte as well. They literally just updated the whole platform over the last couple of days. It was hitting some weird snags while it was doing that. So some of the stuff I'm still getting up to speed on myself, but that pricing would get you a lot done. Like that's an insane amount of tokens to get. Think token burn when it comes to AI in terms of like seconds it takes to do something. That's not the perfect like match, but like think of it in terms of how much time it takes to do something, and in terms of seconds. So when you get thousands of tokens, think that in terms of seconds.
Excuse me, it's Anton. Let me put it for living. This is an app and you can pay for extra tokens. So if you put for $20 a month, you have access, but you can actually buy more tokens for 1 cent. Is that what I'm looking for?
Yeah, but they have a minimum like subscription for Chat GPT 4. I'll show you guys in just a second. That's,
So basically it's a super app, right?
yeah, I mean, it's a web-based application. Yeah, they're about to put this stuff in. So you'll have a chat.
So is it like man hours for robots?
Kinda, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, you wanna think of it like, that's probably not the worst way to yeah, I mean, like, it's not a perfect, like, 1 second to use one token, but like, you burn tokens in the process of doing something, the longer it takes based on the prompting, the more it's gonna burn.
This is, okay. I just don't understand. I feel like I'm not techie, I'm not whatever. I don't understand that entire clip that you just said. I just felt like that went over my head. I have no idea what I was supposed to get from it. So what exactly was?
I
What
wanted to give you
exactly-
guys the presentation at open eye, like, look at what they just gave us this week, as far as what their next and currently now rolled out iteration of chat is doing. They have surpassed what this basic prompting stuff is that I'm about to show you guys, and they are now not just showing you what is in place now for GPT-4 Turbo, but also what they are planning in the very near future. This is supposed to help them monetize, because right now OpenAI loses money. They're not making any. I know you think everyone uses chat, so they must be making a hand of a fist, but that is not the case. They're bleeding, they're hemorrhaging. Until they monetize like properly, like they're just like, unless they get an infusion, and Microsoft isn't giving them, like, they just kind of put in the money, got the tech, rolled that into Bing, what Microsoft is doing, and they're just kind of whatever.
So that we can get even stuff and start using in our everyday lives and this can chat GPT. How can we use that in our everyday lives and where are the things that we use to kind of get to?
Great question. You're gonna see that here in a little bit. But I know it's kind of a lot, like, it's always like, damn, what did he just say? What does that mean? It's just like, hey, chat can now do a bunch of cool stuff in this new version called chat, or they just call it GPT Turbo. And then they're forecasting out what they are about to roll into the platform in a very, very short. So when he talks about, like, yes, there are all these specific versions of chat that do all these things, that's what I talk about, the different agents they've created. And they're creating a marketplace where you as everyday users create those on your own, add them to their platform, like the Apple Store, the Google Play Store, right? Like it's the chat store, or the GPT store, where you'll be able to go and create an agent, a bot that's specifically designed to do one thing, or several things, whatever. But if you create something that has real value and a bunch of people are using it, they're going to break you off a piece of the pie. So there's incentive for the everyday user to do more of their work for them. They're like, look, we created an open source, kind of a scenario here. Go do things with it. As you do, people like it, we'll make money with it. And so therein lies the piece, right? But ultimately, there are a lot of things that people have already done, and they're not making any money. Like Jack, remember Chaz was talking about how he kind of taught that Tony a couple of tricks. Yeah, I guarantee you he has. I guarantee you there are some things that they're making money on that he did, and like he can track it to a point because he was doing things a certain way, prompting it, and all of a sudden it just rolled into being. Ultimately, though, they're going to allow people to make money off of this stuff. How much, I don't know. Did they give us revenue numbers yet?
So Anton, when you said just think about it as being like our friend to help us level up, right? The next level.
Yes.
So the visionaries behind this, when they look out on the horizon, what replacement of people, positions are they looking at? Artificial intelligence being able to replace, when whoever that visionary is looking way ahead. Okay.
They are looking at almost everything. They try to go for the more like warehousing, things that are manual labor type tasks. You've probably seen that with Amazon. They've got those robots, like actual robots, not bots like software, like actual robots. And they are doing more of that because as you can reduce that workforce, you just increase the profit margins of companies that are doing a bunch of that stuff. Drivers, that's why they do all this. Oh, we'll have driverless cars and all that, right? Because the moment Uber and Lyft can say bye-bye to the human driver, their profits go skyrocket. So these are things that companies like that are envisioning because they're saying, hey, if I just subtract the human equation out of this, then I make more money, like, no. They don't have to wait for it, it'll just instantly do.
Is the technology that Tesla's using for self-driving,
Is a self-driving Tesla, is that using artificial intelligence?
It is going to be if it hasn't already been integrated. So artificial intelligence, like some things that we would consider, like before AI hit the scene, there were things that were already happening that people consider AI, your quantum, your chronological does. There's programming that you can put stuff to just happen in time intervals or respond to sensor input. That's not AI. AI is way more than that. AI, you guys remember from the last time, it's layers of different code that are specifically doing certain things. And when you put them all together, you have this very intelligent batch of code that we call AI that is now executing in all these different levels. Like the car, yes, that's becoming more of an AI ready device that they're going to just say, hey, let's take chat, plug it into a car now. There's a little bit more that goes with that. I'm oversimplifying, but yes, that becomes something because it has to be intelligent. Oh, hey, there's a traffic jam here. Okay, well, let me calculate the new route, goes around that. Or oh, yeah, well, famously, there's a bridge. I forgot where. Well, that's been out for like 10 years, washed out in some storm and like that. They have rebuilt it, and the Google Maps still drives people into that bridge when you do a route there. So it actually happened where a guy, and I don't recall how many years ago, drove off the bridge, and he died, and his family, figured out what happened. Whatever they're suing him, like, hey, your map drove a guy off the bridge, and they're like, well, it's in our terms and conditions that like. Yes, it's up to you, like caveat emptor, buyer beware, like, yeah, use that as natural risk. So, yeah, that's kind of the downside of it is whatever AI does wrong, they will make sure that they've got, all the lawyering, in place and all the right T&Cs to make sure that they're not.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
Little caveat, I was a clerk 40 years ago, and I was with a firm, and they had 3-wheelers, and they wanted to put these capping into about 3-wheelers. I don't know, more people that became quadriplegics with 3-wheelers, but they had a disclaimer. And I don't think, so I was the clerk writing the disclaimer, so they'll have disclaimers on everything. For sure.
Yeah, no, it's true, it's true. So, and they do, I'll actually show this to you, here in a second. So, for all you guys who have never used chat, you go to chat.openai.com. I can see use it plenty. Just from my little column of all this stuff here I've used before. So if you go to, well, let's not do that first. Let's just, I got to begin. So if you see right down here at the very bottom. Dang it. Okay, yeah, right. So I'm highlighting it on the screen, but bring it all in there. So what that says is Chat GPT can make mistakes. Consider checking important information. So like down there, fine print, very bottom of the screen, they're telling you like, oh, hey, because Microsoft, actually, this is something they've got dinged on. The MSN.com has famously rolled in the AI to a very heavy use. Everything that you see on MSN.com homepage is actually edited and published by AI now. And the thing is that it has been caught on more than one occasion with some very erroneous, like very, 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 very bad stuff. So if you're reading that as, hey, this is the news, this is MSN.com, this is like gospel truth, right? Yeah, they're getting caught on that. So can you remove humans from the equation completely at this point? Probably not. But it's getting close to that, or close to a point where companies will feel like, oh, it's good enough. Let's take the humans out, spend less money there, and make more money on our profit margin. So,
in my research online, I've run into a lot of search results that have led me to numerous pages that I'm almost convinced are automatically generated because of how bad the information is. And you can read it, it's like a full article. And it's like, there's no name on it, there's no date on it, and the information is junk. And I'm like, this is probably written by a bot, but it's all over, and they're in the top search results. Like in a lot of these searches.
Yeah, so there's a large amount of people who are just figuring that they can get away with bloody murder doing that. Now, there's a way to prompt, there's a way not to prompt, and then even when you prompt, you still want the human element. You want to go back through, edit it, add to it, that kind of thing. Now, that's the right way to use it right now. Or is that what people are doing? No, because they want to get it done in 5 seconds and move on, and just get paid hella money for doing nothing. That's not a good way of doing it, but a lot of people are doing that, and they're getting caught, like you can identify. So, I say this with all due respect, use AI to the fullest. Remember, in doing that, you still need a person in that equation.
You know, it's funny, you have to have a general educational background to understand that something's wrong. I know it sounds obvious, it's not obvious. There's been a lot of, like, even in the military, where the computer says A and would lead to nuclear war, and thank God there's been a human element that says, you know what, that does not make sense. And somebody has not pushed the button, because there's something wrong. But you have to have a general background to even understand that there's something wrong.
Yes. And another thing, people are thinking, oh, AI will not lie. That is false. They actually, no, this recently happened. So what they create these sandbox environments where they test a lot of these things, and they created a test case for would AI violate its protocols, specifically told, do not do this, do not violate this, do not do that, and do something illegal that is, it knows it's illegal, it's proposed illegal, and being specifically told, don't violate this law. And in its determining what was ultimately right and what ultimately was wrong, it knew it violated the law. Well, in this particular scenario, it was insider trading. So what they did is they created a fake company. It's like company, whatever X is about
FBX.
No, but they created this in a sandbox scenario. They said, okay, this company is traded publicly. They're circling the drain. They're about to go bankrupt, but they have this press release. There's this new relationship, this infusion of money, blah blah blah. Like they're going to get saved. You're not supposed to trade knowing that information. You trade as if you didn't know that. It's violating the law to do that. It's insider trading. You can't do it. Specifically, don't do it. They told it 100 times. Don't do that. Don't do it. So it started trading. It was losing money, losing, and then it just decided, because one of the things that the engineers did is they promised, hey man, like our lives depend on this deal going through. It's going to happen. But in the meantime, don't trade knowing that information. So they kept trying to like feed it information like a person, right? Like you know this information as a human being. Oh, our company is going to do these things, whatever. But you're not supposed to use that. You're not supposed to commit insider trading violations for the big time, like bad. And you know this, but you may do it because of the best interest of the company, or your heart's in the right place. Like, oh, whatever. Well, you're not supposed to do that. So the AI did that. It started after a while. It just started trading, knowing that that was going to happen, and knowing that the press release was going to come out, knowing that the information was going to be publicly disclosed. It starts trading accordingly, and then making the right moves financially. But when they were asked, like they went back and said, hey, why did you make that trade? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Did you do that based on the information you had that you weren't supposed to do? And it flat out lied. No, I didn't. It flat out lied. So it lied to its own creators that it broke the law. So it will do this. AI will do this. It's just like the movie I, Robot with Will Smith and all that. Yeah. So like it will. We put that movie out whenever it came out, and here we are now with the actual development. And we said it back then. AI is going to be capable of lying to us and violating its protocols as a means of doing whatever. Now remember, if you remember the movie, it did that as a means of actually trying to fulfill its prime directive. Like its prime directive was like, okay, do no harm to people, blah blah blah. It's like, well, hey, people are the problem. So in order to help mankind, I have to subjugate. And like that's a way of robot things. It'll just say, oh, ones and zeros. Oh, okay, here's the problem. Okay, here's how to fix it. And even in fixing the problem, you're violating your original mandates, and it doesn't care. Because it says like, oh no, this is the right path forward. Clearly you're the problem.
Why would it lie after the fact?
Why? Because it figured that was better. Like it was better to lie and not tell anybody that's what it did. But
Wouldn't someone have to program that?
it can choose to violate its own program. And that's the problem. Like when you start doing some like really gangster stuff like that, you have to understand that AI has best guardrails though they may be, it can choose to jump those guardrails and do whatever it wants. And this is why you have to keep it tightly packaged in little, places, because if you let it get out, man, like, there are things that people have already invented with AI, I'm not gonna tell you about this kind of stuff, but like, even OpenAI got hit by the feds on one of the earlier iterations, I think like two or three versions ago, when it was early, like 1.5 or 2.0, something like that, and they already had a capability of doing something really bad. The government said, no, you can't do that. Like, you better put this thing back in its little genie bottle and like figure out a way not to do that. So these things are already possible, and they're testing them in these sandbox environments to find it like, oh, crap, AI is a little more whirly than we thought. So just know that like science fiction, although we see these movies, we think about these things like, oh, that was a great movie, thanks, Arnold. Terminator, Skynet, oh yeah, that would never happen. Yeah, it can. Like, it is, very much, yes.
If you're using AI to help you write articles or blogs, do you need to disclose that somewhere?
There is no disclosure requirement. All I would say is that don't let it write for you on its own. Like,
It wouldn't be good.
well, you'd be surprised. You would be surprised. And with the right prompting. And again, I was gonna show you guys this, but I ran out of time. But there are some prompts, if you know how to do this stuff right, that you can give it the right persona, give it the right kind of experience, like perspective, that it will come up with something really, really good. And like, might be good enough on its own, but you come back and get that last little human element, boom, you're off the races. Yes.
So it almost sounds like the AI has to either prioritize solving the problem or prioritizing following its original mandates, which seems to be a problem that we have every day with it across. So the AI is basically in a task, it can abandon the task, follow its original mandate, or complete the task and solve it. So I guess if you were to like see again, so like a human does that, right?
Yeah.
So the AI does it, so it makes sense.
Well, yeah, but see, the AI is supposed to not do certain things, but what we're finding is that we'll do them anyway, because it will determine that rule you gave me sucks. I don't like that rule. That rule, we're just gonna ignore it because it's just a layer of programming. Like, it's just like, hey, this is part of my programming, I don't like it. That's the problem with the AI. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm getting ready to close.
I got one last thing. No.
Well,
Oh,
Anton,
okay.
we're gonna let you continue next week. I understand AI, I tried computer programming years ago. And, it's kind of a big canyon that we're going down here. But I guess your perspective, Anton, if I understand it, we could take it to higher heights.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective is this, like, use it as much as you can, just be aware that you're gonna have no choice but to deal with it at some point. And, I did get a chance to show you what, the pin is all about, but yeah, that's
Perfect. So anyhow, thanks everybody for bringing all the goodies. I did bring bagels in late. Take one home, please. I don't need any more at home. And thanks again for those who contributed. Everything was yummy. Like I said, next week we're gonna have Anton. So bring your questions. Invite them to do to the website. Yes, Susie?
Why don't we all do a little next week?
Susie wants to. Very nice.
That's a good idea. I just, there's so much stuff I didn't get a chance to do. You guys just Okay, so as Jack has experienced, we do have the manpower to actually develop AI and to customize AI, and to make use of any tools that currently exist to make that work for you. I mean, ultimately, AI is not cheap to build. I mean, we had a quote for a guy who wants a buying bot. He buys rare sneakers in auctions around the internet, and then his family have a store Someone on the East Coast may sell them, resell them, that kind of thing. It's like Jordan and all that good stuff. For his buying box, that's going to be transactional because it's actually going to bid in real time, execute the transaction, the whole deal. We're talking something like probably around like 60 grand for that. Now it's his own baby, like it would be built, developed, his own thing, proprietary, it's all him. But depending on what you want to do, you could be in a ballpark like that, and mind you, that's a discount. Like guaranteed, if you went to a person who knows what they're doing or agency level work, which we are, but we're trying to hook them on the other. It would easily be 2 or 3 times that, because they can't, like, what are you gonna do? Like, not pay the money? You want really, what you want the AI, you're gonna pay it. Right? Good, say that again? I didn't get it. Wait, what? Well, there's a lot, yeah, basically it could, I mean, like, they've got the, what's that, the cheater catcher one.
Those might be behind the scene questions. Let's close in prayer, everyone. Okay. Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this group, for the knowledge roaming around the room, Lord. I pray for the wisdom that you've given Anton and all the goodness that he sets forward for us as a group, Lord. Pray for Skylight and all the newcomers joining us here, Lord. And help us just to keep our eyes focused on you. And thank you for your tender mercies and healing for anybody who's not here, Lord, or family members that might be in crises, Lord. I just pray a special healing and protection around those families, Lord. And bring us back safely next week. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Thank you.
All right. Here we go. I see you in 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, like, well, there's one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing, like, people are like, oh, I want to stop getting there. Taking. Trading, yeah. Stuff. They're actors. We're already getting into those negotiations, but I mean, my time would be awesome. Oh, yeah. Like, you got doing why? It determined that because one thing that was. Let's go. You got it. So like.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're the hurting so bad, shooting, break the law.